Hey y'all, I'm David Doyle, he, him, and I am currently serving as Vice President of Affirmation. I really wish I was there with you all at the conference. It was my plan to be, however, I live and work in Tampa, Florida, and Hurricane Milton upended those plans. So instead, I'm sending this message because I want to share some thoughts I have about this year's theme, Joyfully Authentic. I love this theme because queer people, most of us grew up with non-queer people telling us what our life should look like, what our expectations should be, what a successful life for us will be like. Part of being joyfully authentic is learning to release the expectations of what others say your life should look like, and instead figure out what you want your life to be like. For most of us, it's not until we come out that we can start figuring out for ourselves how to be queer. It's then that we can start making choices for queer joy instead of straight comfort. It's deciding which values matter most to you and then living according to them. We get so used to viewing things through the prism of protecting straight people's comfort that many people, when they first come out, they are hesitant to go to a pride activity or even to have a rainbow pin. But week by week, month by month, they feel their confidence grow, and the joy they feel for their life matches the growing acceptance they have for themselves. And they become queerer and queerer day by day. It is an amazing thing because it's like feeling your power grow. I was socialized to be a cis straight man. That's what they were raising me, preparing me to be when I grow up. Do you know how we teach young boys to become that? By training them not to be like women. Men don't wear pink. Don't be so sensitive. You're not letting your son wear fingernail polish, are you? Boys don't cry. Boys don't play with dolls. Don't be a sissy. You can't let your wife sign your son up for ballet. You got to sign him up for sports. Notice all of those statements imply that it is shameful to be a woman or to do feminine things. Do you know what that is? That's the straight agenda. If anybody has an agenda towards sexual orientation and gender identity, it is cisgender heterosexuals. Being a cis-het man comes with a lot of privileges, but the rub is there are also a lot of rules, and if you violate too many of them, you are viewed suspiciously. I wasn't socialized to be a cis-het woman, but I know that there are a lot of rules that go with that too. When I came out as gay, I lost my ticket to the cis-het club. I mean, technically I was never in it, but I didn't have to try to fit that mold anymore. I could try new things. After coming out, I visited queer spaces. I met queer people. I could watch queer media without having to sneak and feel shame for doing so. And I learned a lot about how queer people perceive being queer. I could try new things. For example, I always loved shiny, sparkly things. And now I have a hot pink rhinestone encrusted earbud case, which I never could have had when I was trying to pass a cis-het. It's a small thing, I know, but it makes me happy. Sure, there's plenty of stereotypes about what gays, lesbians, non-binary, transgender, bisexual, and so on people are like. Try on the stereotypes, see if they fit, and if they don't, then move on. The thing is, even if you don't fit the stereotypes, you're not considered not queer enough. You get to be and do the things which bring you joy. Where I live, there's a restaurant that is themed as like old Southern country style. It's called Cracker Barrel. 2 years ago, Cracker Barrel added vegan sausage to their breakfast menu. Some people lost their ever-loving mind. Cracker Barrel didn't remove anything from the menu. Nothing was taken away. A meatless option was simply added. But people were offended at the idea of these people who they perceive as different from them being convenienced. They associate certain values with a vegetarian lifestyle. and they couldn't handle it even though they lost nothing. The same thing has been happening at Target stores with their Pride items. And people say we're the ones with an agenda. These are two examples of why progress can be difficult. It's consistent with the opposition of some people to having queer people represented in the media or even in real life. Just recognizing that queer people exist doesn't take anything away from them. They just don't want anyone, especially their children, to see that there's options in life which they disagree with, such as that you can be queer and not ashamed and not have to hide. Being queer can and should be a delight, but the world, church, your family, others may be telling you that you have to be one thing and act a certain way and nothing else is acceptable, when your spirit is just trying to get you to be yourself. They may insist we pick up the heavy backpack of the problems they have with us, and what a joyful day it is when we can sit down that backpack. When people say they have a problem with you, they're right. It is their problem, and they are trying to make it your problem. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. The ones who are most against you are the ones who most believe in your power. Think on that. You have power. Claim your power. There's a zillion other things someone could be doing with their time, so why are they spending their precious time on earth persecuting you? It's because they know you're powerful and they fear your power. They should be envious of the freedom that we have, being free from those rules about how to be a man or how to be a woman. Instead, they fear what it means if those rules go away. I didn't think I was powerful. I hid who I was. And I always worried if people knew the real me that they would reject me. I used to think that one day maybe I could be somebody. I was so afraid that I didn't come out until my 40s. The fact that you and I survived and are here, regardless of when you came out, or even if you haven't fully come out, that is something to be celebrated. Vincent van Gogh is one of the most famous painters to have ever lived. His works are considered priceless. The thing is, he died broke. Only one painting of his soul during his lifetime, about 4 months before his death. At the time of his death, people could easily proclaim him a failure. And yet, in contrast today, we say he's a stunning success, a genius, a visionary. His paintings rank among the most well-known in the world. So I want you to consider this question. When did Vincent van Gogh become a success? Was it when the world noticed? Was it when he sold his first painting? Was it when he finished creating his first painting? I am going to suggest to you that he is a success because he was himself. He didn't try to live someone else's life. Being authentic, doing what brought him joy and fulfillment, that made him a success. He was a success the moment he decided this is his life, this is what he wants, this is what he will work out. Unfortunately, it took time for the world to catch up. The world was late. You wanting to be more authentic, you who are taking steps towards joy and fulfillment in your life, you are a success. You know how I said, I hope that one day I would get to be somebody? Well, you are somebody now. Do not wait for the world to tell you that you are a success. The world is always late. Follow your inner compass. And the second you start walking in the direction it's pointing, you are a success. If you find something that unexpectedly brings you joy, follow where it leads. I've heard it said that there are only two people whom you need to make proud in life. The first is 80-year-old you, and the second is 8-year-old you. Although there's an idea that queer timelines are delayed because we experience things later than our non-queer peers. So maybe it's 16-year-old or 26-year-old or 28-year-old you. Regardless, those are the two people you need to make proud. Life is too short not to have a good relationship with yourself. This is more important than keeping your parents or your church leaders or your employer or whoever else you feel like you need to impress happy. Above them all is you. Queer people need to believe in ourselves. That's when the miracles happen. I'm a work in progress. It's been less than 10 years since I fully came out. I'm in therapy, dealing with the harm that came from believing all the things that non-queer people told me about queer people, and from hiding myself and trying to deny this important part of myself. An important thing for me has been getting queer friends. At first they were online. Then I came to an Affirmation conference and met some people in real life. These days I have a group of gay men who are my friends here in the Tampa area, who are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, and we get together every month to eat, drink, and play cards. Although some of us are current or former Latter-day Saints, so poker doesn't work for this group. We play Uno and Crazy Eights. Also, when I travel to Utah for a conference, I arranged to have dinner with some of my queer LDS friends. And after one such meal, my friend Aaron said to me that I seem so much gayer when I'm with other queer people. I seem so much more comfortable and unguarded. And she saw parts of my personality that aren't always on display for others. It reminds me that my usual state is to be guarded, and that when I'm with other queer people, my guard is lowered and I get to feel normal, that I'm not the one who is different. You know, it is a rare experience for a non-queer person, for a cisgender heterosexual person, to be the only non-queer person in the room. I've seen this a couple times and they get uncomfortable or very self-conscious, and it's an interesting thing to watch, because for queer people, we are often in that position where we are the only queer person in the room. It is a blessing if we feel that we can always be ourselves. That is something that I am still working on. My point is to accept and love yourself, even the queer parts of yourself. It's really difficult to live life being at war with yourself. That does not bring joy. Most of us in the room, we are current or former Latter-day Saints, and so we're familiar with the verse from the Book of Mormon which says that we have joy. We are meant to have joy in life. There is not an asterisk after that verse that says, except not if you're queer. A good life is not out of your reach. It will take some effort. I'm sure you know that, right? The important thing is it is in our control. To be joyfully authentic is a choice, and it is a journey. And I wish all of you much success as you pursue that journey to be joyfully authentic.